Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this a brand new day. It is chilly today. Yay! It was chilly last night, but too warm in this house, as it always has been. Thumbs up for that. I slept pretty good, up at 4 o'clock in the morning with gut pain, and by the time I was all finished and back to bed, 4:30. And of course my gut still hurt, just not as bad. So I didn't really sleep, but I spent 2 hours trying to sleep and just resting, and just laying in bed in the dark with your eyes closed and trying to rest is actually good for you. It's better than just getting up. So I did that, and now I'm alive. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And hopefully you are alive as well. Front loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, if you could subscribe to the channel, if you could leave me any sort of comment, that'd be cool. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are, in fact, literally beautiful and literally awesome, helping to keep me and my pets alive, and that is greatly appreciated. I enjoy metabolizing, and I know my pets enjoy metabolizing as well. So if you'd like to help me continue metabolizing, I have links in the video description, as well as for a PayPal for any possible donations, an Amazon wish link with stuff like pet food on it, and a post office box where if you send me anything at all, I'll show it off on camera, even if it's just a postcard or a keychain. Thumbs up for that. Front loading of videos over. Hokey smokes. Oh boy, first things first. I burnt out the lymph system in my lower extremities when I had cellulitis happening so often in the early 2000s. It burnt out my lymph system, and that is part of your immune system. Also, it helps transport fluids, your intercellular fluids throughout your body. And human beings with gravity, our lower extremities generally swell up through time just because gravity pulling the fluids down. Without a functioning extra system, the lymph system, my legs swell up bad. It used to be terrible. Before I was diagnosed properly, my feet would become meat pumpkins. It was bad. Now I can not wear support stockings all day, and my legs will swell up, just not as bad as they used to. Since I got cellulitis, I have been doing what I'm supposed to. I've been putting on my support stockings first thing in the morning, like you're supposed to. Yesterday, I went and was foolish, and I didn't put them on until about an hour before I went walkies, about 5:30 in the afternoon. I didn't think my feet and legs had swelled up that much. When I put on my new shoes, it was torture. My feet had swollen up so much that they were squashed painfully inside of the shoes. It took until I got to Walmart for the movement of my, muscles to move some of the fluids out of my feet so that it stopped hurting from being crushed. I don't have my support stockings on yet. I'm going to be putting those on as soon as I'm done recording. I don't want to go through that again. That was horrific. I still have a raw spot on my toe where it rubs against the seam on the inside of the shoe. It's not getting worse, and I can limp so that it doesn't hurt as much. So since I can't really afford anything else, thumbs up for that. But still, that was yesterday, the walk up to Walmart and back with my ultra puffy legs. Yay! And of course, editing my 4 Against Darkness video yesterday, oh my god. Everything seems like I'm doing it properly when I'm recording. ADHD is so much fun because I made so many obvious mistakes while playing each and every time. This time, the biggest thing that leaped out at me is I had one character being attacked by a whole swarm, 6 other characters, monsters, NPCs. You're supposed to make a defense against every single one of them. I kept not. I would have them defend against one attack instead of all the attacks. It all makes sense while I'm doing it. It's only afterward that it's like, oh my god, what is wrong with my brain? Except I know what's wrong with my brain. I have ADHD, and on top of that, I should be keeping one rule set in my head, but I don't. I've got, or I'm trying to keep, all of them in my head at the same time. I'm trying to keep and memorize and have all the rules for No Quest Expanded World in my head. I'm trying to, at the same time, keep and store all of the For Against Darkness rules in my head, while also trying to keep all of the D100 rules in my head, all at the same time, which is one of the reasons that I've been trying to do the little cheat sheet things. Oh my god, I can't think of the words, where I write down turn sequences and things that I would forget so that they're on the table while I'm playing. Hopefully that's going to work. Holy smokes. Oh, there was something about further gaming on that when I was... Yes, I remember now. The focus. This is a big thing. I've never really mentioned this before, but last night I started thinking about it. There is a huge focus difference in the 3 games that I'm playing right now. No Quest, For Against Darkness. Well, I haven't been playing D100 Dungeon, but the focus of No Quest is you go until you find a dungeon, and then you go into the dungeon and you explore it until you find and kill the boss. For Against Darkness is you don't even do the overworld stuff unless you want to. If you choose to, you can, but you don't have to. But you go into a dungeon and you explore the dungeon until you find the dungeon boss. D100 Dungeon, you don't do that. You don't do that. There's no random quests that are just amorphous blob quests. Every single quest in D100 Dungeon, from the random stuff on up, has a point to your going into the dungeon. It might be you need to loot 3 monster parts. So you're going through and mapping the dungeon until you get 3 monster parts in the proper way. You have to kill and then loot the monster to take the part, and then when you do that, you're done, and then you can leave. It's not wander aimlessly until you find the dungeon boss. It's you're going in there with a point. You have to explore some areas, or you need to find X amount of treasure, or you're looking for this kind of device, or you're looking for this specific type of monster. You have a quest that you can fail if you leave the dungeon. They're not just go until you find a boss. It's you have a point. So that's the big focus difference in the 2 types of games, and I just wanted to mention that because that makes a big difference in how you want to play as well. If you just want something fast that has, just go until you hit the boss, No Quest is perfect. I enjoy that game a lot. For Against Darkness, again, it's fast, not as fast as No Quest, but pretty quick, and it's just, you just go until you find something, the boss. But with D100 Dungeon, again, because it's so crunchy, you need time, and it has a point. So, thumbs up for that, and I just wanted to point that out. Also, as well, there's not a whole lot that I've got to talk about that I was able to think of last night. My brain was just focusing on things that I'd already had to make sure that rough parts were sanded a little bit finer to get rid of the rough spots and to plumb some areas for a little bit more. But one of the things I do want to talk about is I mentioned that there is the Crimson Kingdom on the inside. Now, throughout the years now, I don't know how long I've been talking about my projects here, but through the time I've been talking about it, I have at some points fixated pretty hard on the Crimson Kingdom. But as a real quick thing, there are the 2 universes. There's the inside and the outside. A long time ago at their first formation, because of extra universal energies, this one universe should have shriveled and died. It became part of a conjoined system with our universe, and with the excessive amount of extra universal energy inside of it, it is an amazing place. Literally an infinite ocean of potential and possibility. Now these 2 universes bump and rub against each other, and they form holes, which are the doors between the 2 universes. Between those are the razor's edges. These are just transition points between the 2 universes. Every single place that has a door goes to a different place on the inside. These are all just oceans that are formed, well, islands on the ocean that are formed by the intelligences that live within the ocean. And then the energy pours up and through to the center of the island and then pours out, down converted into our universe, helping to keep everything rejuvenated and renewed. There is continuous star formation and thus galaxy formation and thus all constant life continuing as long as that energy will continue to flow. Our universe in this setting has been at its stage where we are, well, we were about 5 billion years ago in our universe, and has been there for over 1 trillion years at this stage, and will be going at this stage for many, many more trillions of years before it exits this stage to enter the slightly next stage where it will spend many trillions of years. This universe system is going to last for a very, very long time. But on the Crimson Kingdom, the King in Crimson was a being that just, there are beings of power and powerful beings, and sometimes these beings just coalesce out of gathered energy, because this energy likes to create, and likes to create. It just has a low bar for being expressed. Physically, it snaps and crackles and does stuff because its resistance is so low. One of the things that formed was the King in Crimson, and it took a couple tens of thousands of years of observing humanity rise and fall before they decided and became sentient and sapient and said, if I am to be king, there are many pitfalls I must avoid. It wasn't exactly that, that's a paraphrasing. But at that point, they became sentient and sapient and had spent a lot of time gathering up a lot of resources and a lot of armies so that they could take over the center of the whole island right there, because there are literally infinite resources to be found there. And that was important for the upcoming Crimson Kingdom to be completely independent. And they are. They have literally infinite resources. They are infinitely rich. Now, the Crimson Kingdom, 1,114 years later, right now, when the Kaiju has rampaged and eaten between 12 and 13,000 people in Apple Rock, at this point, the Crimson Kingdom is roughly analogous to where we are out here, except they are roughly analogous, but they did not walk our history, our path to get where we are. Their existence is very, very different from ours. Their civilization, the Crimson Kingdom itself, is way, way behind us in a lot of areas, both social, culturally, technologically. In about a third of them, they're equal to where we are, and in about a third of things, they are way past us. The tech on computers and cellular mobile phones and all that is far past anything we can even imagine. So they're roughly analogous, but they walk their own path to get where they got. Because 1,114 years ago, when the Crimson Kingdom was formed, when the King in Crimson declared it to be Common Era Zero, and they began began breaking ground for the construction of Red Palace. They were roughly Bronze/Iron Age. And now they have cellular mobile devices that can work 2 universes away from where they are, using quantum mechanics inside of booster repeaters they have. Because subatomic particles can be linked on the quantum level. They link a bunch of things together, put these separate parts in the boosters, and the signal can travel between layers and universes using this quantum linking. And it works. And they're able to do this thing. The Kaiju as well, I want to talk about a bit, because it is such an incredibly powerful being. Even the Crimson Kingdom has no ideas what this thing is. And when I say Apple Rock, how there's up on a landing above on Apple Rock Mountain, there is Apple Rock Clearing, because Apple Rock is such a, I'll talk more about that. And then there is Apple Rock Valley in the city of Apple Rock. And everyone just calls it Apple Rock because up in that landing is a gigantic rock that looks like a Granny Smith apple. It's even a little bit slightly green. It looks like a giant apple. And so everyone just calls it Apple Rock. And what a surprise it was when it opened up on that first time and began rampaging and eating everyone. Thing is, it's been doing this since forever. Apple Rock, even in this, within the past couple hundred years, has been depopulated many times because the Kaiju generally eats anywhere between 4,000 and 6,000 people on average. Well, when you're a small place that's growing, you might only have like 5,000 people. Well, you gotta start all over again because, oh, everyone got ate. Size-wise, the creature itself, the big, when it's in Apple Rock form, it is about a quarter of the size of just a city block. And it's about 2 stories tall. And it's big. It looks like a big apple, but it's nowhere as large as the actual Kaiju, because the Kaiju itself is larger on the inside than it is on the out. Even its armor, the stuff that looks like an apple. Because when it unfolds and uncurls and it puts out its 4 legs, those 4 legs go at the 4 edges of a full, industrial sized city block in a large city. Very, very big. And when it's standing 4-footed, it's about 3.5 stories tall. Now that's not its whole bulk. It's got its body, and then its legs come out. It has a tail, and it's got a head up here, so it doesn't take up a full block in size. But it's bigger than it is in apple form because it is larger on the inside than it is on the out. And it is covered all over its body with this like 3-foot thick coating of armor that is the actual Apple Rock form. It unfolds just like a puzzle, and then it starts walking with all this armor covering it. And then when it folds back up and settles down and goes back into hibernation, all of those little pieces of armor fit together so snugly you can't even find a seam. It just looks like one gigantic rock that looks like a big Granny Smith apple. And because it looks just like a big frickin' apple, everyone calls it Apple Rock, because it looks like an apple. And it's overlooking this valley, and the valley is a perfect place to put the city. Snuggled into this little valley against this rich mountain. And then there's that clearing with the big rock, and oh my god, nom, 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 and then goes back up to sleep for another 5-6 years. And nobody, of course, understands just what this is. The King in Crimson would like to know, because during this rampage, the Kaiju actually screws with the mind of the King in Crimson at one point, and then lets them know as a threat. But even this is just the Kaiju playing within the Razor's Edge itself. The Kaiju is a chained and fallen, dark and malevolent god of death and destruction. Within the Razor's Edge itself, nothing can harm it. And yet, it is presenting something to the King in Crimson as if there's a weakness that can be exploited. And why? Well, if you got 3 or 4 minutes between tasks, you don't want to do anything big, so you just do a light crossword puzzle. And this is equivalent to just doing a light crossword puzzle, something to keep the Kaiju entertained through the trillions upon hundreds of trillions upon trillions of trillennia that it's going to be alive. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I can't American Sign Language, well, especially since I have therapy today and I got less than a half hour before it's going to start. So I got to hurry. This video is going to be going up late. So we have Jesse Koskinen. Always good to see you in the comments, my friend. And I've been playing Doom since it was released in 1993. Oh, I remember looking forward to that so much, and I've been playing it since. I used to play it in its native 320 by 200. Holy smokes. Flora Mute, good to see you as well. Thumbs up. And hopefully you can recover enough that you got some spoons. And then we have JAYY, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. It is appreciated. Sebastian Ferris, I'm going to check that out. Thank you very, very much. Shinra, greatly appreciated. Good to see you in the comments, and definitely. We have RJ Mitchell, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. It is greatly appreciated. And yep, drinking a bottle of Hema-Cola for people, it just reminds you of somebody. Somebody that you used to know. Chris, thumbs up. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Ben B, thumbs up, and good to see you as well. And then that is it in the past 24 hours. What is that? 8 people who left me comments. Thumbs up. Thank you much. It's never many, but however many people do leave me comments, it is greatly appreciated. And of course, I got therapy today. I don't know what else I'm going to be able to get done past that, if anything, so we shall see. If you have things to get done and you can't get them done, survival mode is okay. Do not beat yourself up for not being able to do things. It's not going to help you do it better next time. It's only for you to punish yourself, and that's not good. So don't punish yourself. Survival is not something you should be punished for. And of course, with everything happening in the world, with all the sicknesses, if you see people that are sick, try to take appropriate precautions so you don't get sick and pass sicknesses on to others. And wherever there's danger and stress, don't go like dancing on busy freeways. That's not very, I would say not very smart, but I'm not trying to pass value judgments. How about that's not very survival oriented? And of course, if you're out walking late at night or early in the day, outside or in a building, if you hear that mournful howl of the bus horn, the bus with your name on it, yeah, your number's up. You're gonna have your corpse smeared across the landscape on impact. But hey, hopefully it was a good life before that. So, until we meet again, you take care, have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is frankly a very good thing.